Hey guys, good morning. This is Kim, your independent designer with Couture and Chic. I hope that this finds you doing super fantastic on this Thursday morning. We are going to get this pulled up and shared really quick over onto our VIP page. But while I am doing that, I want to encourage you, if you are here watching it live or on a replay, you can type in hashtag live or hashtag replay. I would love to know that you came by. And if you have never tried Chalk Couture before, we have some amazing Try Me kits, and I would love to talk to you about those. I can send you information, whatever the case may be, but just let me know. You can comment Try Me, and I will be glad to send you some more information. And if you would like more information about our Club Couture, which is a subscription service for Chalk Couture goodness every single month, sent to your door for $19.99. No shipping, guys, which is crazy. You can comment Club in the comments, and I will be happy to send you that information as well. Hey, Cynthia. So we're going to be working on a big, gigantic project this morning. I am in love with this transfer. When I saw it, I knew I had to get it. The sentiment is gorgeous, but moreover than the sentiment, just the way it's laid out, the fonts, everything about this is just beautiful. We are using our 18-inch round surface. That is a retired surface. It's no longer available. When it was going away, I got several of them because of my vendor spot. So this one, my friends, we are going to create, and it will be taken up to my vendor location here in Olive Branch, Mississippi. So we're going to be working with this. We have a ton of chalk colors. I am super excited to go through this and show you this and just have some fun chalking. So let's get started. I went ahead and cleaned off my boards, both sides, because we had done lives on both of them before. But we are lining it up. I am making sure that this little piece right here that's going to be our hanger is centered. And we are going to also focus, if you'll notice on this transfer, it's not imperfect. It's because of how the font is and how everything is lined up with your actual sides. But I am going to utilize the middle of the mountain here for my middle whenever I put this on the board, because we're still going to have room. I just want that middle to be lined up with the mountain. So whenever we're working on, hey Krista, whenever we're working on this type transfer, it's a big one. It's a size D. It's 18 by 18. A lot of people get nervous about it. I know I took a long time to chalk anything bigger than like a C size transfer, and those petrified me. So I want to show you how I recommend that you do this, because we still have to fuzz, right? So I pull over half of my transfer, leaving my backer sheet on my platform here. And I'm going to keep pulling my backer sheet off and making my transfer sticky side up where it is there on my board. So it's sticky side up to me. I'm going to go ahead and throw this little backer sheet over to the side. We don't need it. So this is sticky side up to me. And then what I do is I take my fuzzing towels, and these are 12 by 18. So they're a perfect size. However, we don't have a big size. So we're going to take one fuzzing towel, put it down. We're going to take another fuzzing towel and put it down. All right, so now my transfer is good and stable. I'm going to flip it over. And this just allows you to still have control over your transfer. There is nothing worse than working with a transfer and your transfer folding onto itself, which can happen. One of the most important things for you to do is not to panic. If you panic, it could be dangerous. So if something happens and you're working with a transfer, no matter how big or small, and you are doing something and it folds onto itself, the most important thing for you to do is A, not panic, B, get your transfer into a water bath or submerged underwater immediately. What you want to do is get it into like cold to lukewarm water, preferably more a little bit on the lukewarm water side. And then you're going to start gently, when the transfer is completely wet, completely submerged, you're going to gently, gently, gently start pulling it apart. It will pull apart, but you do not want to do that while your transfer is dry because it will stretch. These are like your stretchy pants that you wear at Christmas dinner. We all have them. And it will stretch if you're not careful. So we are just fuzzing, 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 fuzzing. Fuzzing, fuzzing. All right, so we are going to go ahead, peel our transfer back. We'll get rid of that fuzzing towel. I'm going to peel this transfer back. And we're going to get this lined up. Let me get rid of this piece of fuzz. If you do have fuzz that overly fuzzes, because sometimes it happens, you just want to make sure it's not in the middle of your silk screen. Okay, so we're going to take it, we're going to line it up just like we talked about with our mountain in the middle. So our mountain's middled. This you can kind of see if you want to take this and just kind of look. And you can see that we are pretty even all the way around as far as that banner is concerned. So it looks pretty even and pretty gorgeous to me. So we have a ton of stuff to do. We're going to be doing a lot of chalk pull, which means we're going to be doing a lot of drying. I'm not going to be too terribly worried about pushing down and pushing down all over the creation because we're going to be doing so much movement with this that we're going to be moving this a lot and doing chalk pulls. So we're going to have to reposition. The area I'm going to be concerned about right now is my mountains because that's where we're going to start. Okay. So we are going to take the color Storm and my chalk paste, guys. I went ahead and stirred up my chalk paste because we have quite a bit of colors that we're going to use. And sometimes sitting through that is a little bit cumbersome. So we're going to take our Storm chalk paste. I'm going to start up here at the very top and we're going to get those mountains chalked. So we went ahead and made sure that our mountains were down. And that's where we're starting. And again, remember we are doing chalk pull. We're working with several Chalkology paste colors. We have a couple of techniques that we're also going to work with. So we are going to complete this. You, my friends, can complete this too. Even if you're new to Chalk Couture, it is possible to complete big projects like this with the chalk pull method. It is quite simple. So we're going to go ahead and give this a pull back. Look at that gorgeous amount of detail. Super stunning. So I am going to take my dryer and we're going to dry it. Now, I hold my transfer up. You can lay a fuzzing towel or something down over your transfer so you're not getting wet chalk paste everywhere. But I just hold it up in the air. Super gorgeous, though. I do want to fix that little bitty part of the mountain where it looks like chalk paste didn't go through completely. We can do that when we're doing our word. So the next part of this is wherever. And I am going to take, let's see if that's good. I am going to take our, and let me fix that because that, I can see where a big old hunk of chalk paste is, which is why that didn't go through. So I'm just going to wipe that clean really quick. And we can go back and correct that one after a while. We're just going to wipe that clean though. Okay, so we are going to take our next part of our transfer, and that is the word wherever. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first make sure we are good without any air pockets. You got to make sure you have no air pockets. And remember that we haven't pushed down our entire transfer because we are working with different sections. So there's really no point if you're doing chalk pull to make sure all of your stuff is pushed down. You just want to work with different sections at a time. So here we're going to be doing an ombre effect. One of the cool things that I love about doing an ombre effect, especially when you're working with a big area, is it's quite noticeable. I am going to take just a little bit of placement tape here though and cover up the edge of my little trees because I don't want to get those chalked accidentally. If you watch my lives long enough, you know me and I get kind of carried away a little bit. But for this particular one, we are going to be using Storm at the top, across our top, and then we're going to hit it with bright white and do an ombre effect into the bright white. So we are going to be using Storm at the top. And again, we're just squeegeeing on, squeegeeing off. And notice I'm kind of just going halfway down my letters. I don't really have any rhyme or reason to what I'm doing. I just chalk. The cool thing is with ombre, you can kind of do whatever you want to do. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It can be your perfect, which still doesn't have to be perfect. So the most wonderful part is being able to kind of do what you want to do. And then no two projects are ever going to look the same. No matter how hard you try, no projects are going to look the same. So here we are going to take our finger and just kind of swirl these two options together, these two color options, and get that blend where it looks like it's an ombre effect all the way across. And then we're going to squeegee off any excess if we have it. Okay, so we have that done. And I'm actually, let me see if we have any white, because that's the only one I'm really concerned about, because we went a little bit heavy on the white. I think we're good. We're going to go ahead and give it a chalk pull. And that is super gorgeous. Super gorgeous. Oh, I love that. So before we move on to the next part of our transfer, I am going to go ahead and get these little two spots, just where it needs a little bit of love really quick, corrected. But oh my goodness, that is so beautiful. Love, 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 love. Oh my gosh, that's so pretty. Okay, actually, we're going to keep on moving and then we'll come back to those two areas. So I am going to show you the trick that I love to use is putting my backer sheet down where I've been. You don't have to do this, but it is super duper easy. I don't use my fuzzing towel generally speaking because you're going to get chalk paste all over your fuzzing towel and then it's going to stain. And then, you know, if you're a perfectionist, you don't like that kind of stuff. So I just use my backer sheet because I can quickly wipe it clean. So we're going to move on to a couple of areas that we're going to be working with. And I'm just wiping that clean because I got gray paste when I was holding it up. I'm sure I got lazy a little bit and I got gray paste on that. So I'm just wiping it clean really quick. That's going to dry before we get down here. Not a big deal, but it happens when you're working with a big transfer sometimes. All right. So our next little spot that I want to work with is going to be the You Go. I am just pushing this down, making sure that this is nice and good. And again, we're doing this as we go along. I do not recommend pushing that down and doing all these things to your transfer because you're just going to have to do it all over again. So I just do it as I go. So we're going to do You Go, and we're also going to hit these two birds really quick with Grage Chalkology paste. So Grage is a little bit, and this is down to the bare bones of that container. But Grage, if you look at the two of them, it's just an off color from Storm. It's not as dark. But we're going to chalk these last because if you chalk these first and then you let it set and you chalk this, I mean, you may be lickety-split quick, and that's great if you are. But this is going to dry a lot quicker because it is thin. So you want to make sure you chalk your big stuff first, then you go back and chalk your little things. So we're going to start with just a small squeegee, or a mini squeegee rather. We're going to chalk this You Go. And I'm just squeegeeing on, squeegeeing off. And then we're going to be able to hit those two little birds really quick with our Grage paste. But this white and this Grage, all of these colors, this color combination is just impeccable. It's just gorgeous. Okay, so there is our birds, and we have our You Go. So we're going to pull it back. This backer sheet also makes it a lot easier to hold up your transfer as you're doing this and drying. So we're just drying this so we can keep chalking. This is so gorgeous though. I love, 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 love this transfer. And one of the cool things is we have so many fonts, guys, that you can work with, so many sayings, and you can use these mountains that are here outside of this transfer. You don't have to chalk this transfer to use those mountains, and that is the most cool thing I love about all of our Chalk Couture stuff is you don't have to use this specifically for what it is supposed to be used for. So I love that. We are going to take that placement tape off our little bitty areas here. I'm going to chalk some trees. And let me actually, I'm going to fix this one little bitty spot right here before I chalk that tree. Because I just now noticed that little bitty bottom spot of the white. It was just missing a little, I mean, the most tiny microscopic part of that W. Okay. So, my friends, we are going to be doing some trees next. Now, the trees are going to be a little bit particular. We are going to chalk one tree at a time, like one section at a time. So, I'll come over here and work with that in just a minute. We're going to chalk this one first. And I have two colors of trees just because we don't have the same color of trees ever. I am going to be working with our multi-tool. So I'm going to chalk this one first. And in fact, let me take just a little piece of placement tape. We're just going to put that right there. And all I'm doing is probably being a little bit uber picky, but I know me and how I do when I chalk, y'all, and I get carried away. So my outskirts are going to be this color Meadow. And then I think I'm going to use a slightly darker color for my other one. So I'm just using our multi-tool. It works almost like a pencil if you're chalking. It makes chalking a lot easier, especially if you're working on a really detailed spot or a spot where you have to be kind of careful. And I think I went over on my banner, but if we did, we can get that fixed too when I pull this up. So we just squeegeed on, squeegeed off. We used Meadow for this one. We're going to pull this over. So there is one of our trees. going to go ahead and... Sorry, guys. Hey, Mel. So we're just drying. Okay. We're going to let that fall where it may be. Just falling for right now. I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing over here. We're going to hit this with some placement tape. And if possible, I try to recycle some of my little bitty placement tapes. It's not always possible to do so, though. But if it is, it makes chalking a little bit easier. So I have my little Archon stand over to the side, and I have little bitty placement tapes all over it. So we're just going to chalk this one, same color, Meadow. And then I think we're either going to do a lighter color. I have Spring Zing, and I actually may stick with that one instead of going darker because this Meadow is pretty dark. So we are going to get this squeegeed on, squeegeed off. Love, 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 love this transfer. When I saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to get it. It was one of the very first ones that I bought from our Celebration Suite collection because it is just stunning. All right, we're going to pull this back. Look at the tree. It's perfect. I'm going to dry this one. Love it. Okay. We are going to let that fall back. So now I have to be a little bit particular because I have to get my other section of my tree done and not chalk my other section of my tree. So all I'm doing is making sure that these lines are okay. And I should be good because I am using a multi-tool that I don't need anything there. But because I know how I get when I chalk, we're just going to cover up that little bitty edge right there. So we're going to take this one off as well. And again, everything should be good here. I may go ahead and just throw this little bitty piece of placement tape here, just because it's kind of super close. So whenever you're covering up where you have been and where you have chalked, you don't have to put force down. You just want it to be kind of covered. But we are going to take our multi-tool again, and we're going to chalk in Spring Zing. Spring Zing is one of the colors. I love it. It's a new color. It's an in vogue color, but it's new to this little spring catalog. Spring summer catalog, but it's super cute. It offers just a different hint of green instead of being that dark primary green. So we're just going to squeegee on, squeegee off this last little bitty bit of green. And we should be good over here. I'm going to go ahead and lift this side. Oh, that's so cute. It just offers a different color instead of being all one the same color. Super adorable. Okay, same thing over here. We're just going to go over this. We're going to make sure it's pushed down well. Looks good. And we're going to take our Spring Zing again, squeegee on and squeegee off. And if y'all are on here and you have not marked your calendars, I want to encourage you next Saturday, May the 16th, I'm going to be doing a chalkathon live here on this page. From 7 a.m. until 3 p.m. I am going to be chalking solid, with the exception of breaking long enough to clean transfers. I'm going to be talking for Watts of Love. It's our not-for-profit organization that Chalk Couture partners with, and I am looking forward to it. I'm super duper excited about it. It will be my third chalkathon. And thank goodness it's not a chalkathon after working a 12-hour shift, because every time I've ever done a chalkathon before, I've had to work the night before. So I'm excited. I have to work that night late, but I'm excited that I don't have to work the night before and try to chalk for 12 hours afterward. Okay, my friends, we are to the point of keeping on moving on. I'm making sure we have our transfer lined up well, because we want to make sure everything lines up here. But we are going to take our forget-me-not for our water down here. And I am just making sure all of our lines are good. And down here at the bottom, I am going to end this one and make sure we have an ending to it with our placement tape, because it starts our banner. So we want to make sure that that ends and we don't chalk blue there. So again, we're just pushing down these lines, making sure these lines are good, several of them. So we do want to work kind of fast because they can dry quickly. And I will go ahead and add just a piece of placement tape right here, just because that's kind of super close. But we're going to chalk this. Add one more, just for good measure. Just because it is super duper close. Okay, so we're going to use Forget Me Not. Super excited about this little portion because I think it's going to look gorgeous. That is super pretty. We are just going to squeegee on, squeegee off, just like we have been doing. Now, I am going to work and squeegee on, and then I'm going to squeegee off once we get done, because this is so thin. It can dry a lot quicker. So you're not seeing me squeegee off just yet. We're letting it kind of sit on there, and then I'll go back and squeegee off. So, oh, I love this one. All right. So now we're going to squeegee off any excess. But the reason why you wait till the very end is because if you did it as you're going and you work a little bit slow, those little thin lines are going to dry super duper quick. So you want to do that squeegeeing off part at the very end. So let's pull this one back. Now I'm just going to hold this to the side. Oh my gosh. Y'all, this looks so beautiful. I love it. Love, 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 love. Oh my word. This is when I get excited. Like when I see a project like this, this is just phenomenal and gorgeous. I just love it. Okay, so we're to the very end. What we have to do is just make sure we're lined up well here. And then I'm going to be worried about down here and pushing down. So I am going to just pull these little placement tapes off. And one thing I want to do, because there's a gargantuous amount of chalk paste right there with the blue. I honestly think, because originally I was going to do this strictly in white, but when I see that blue on here, I think it's so incredibly gorgeous that, guys, I think we may ombre the blue into the white. I really think that that would be just super beautiful. I am pushing this down. This is a very, very large area of silk screen. So you do want to make sure it's pushed down well. But I'm really thinking that we want to do that forget-me-not into the white in an ombre. I think it would be so pretty. So to accomplish that, let me get a lid on a chalk paste jar really quick. To accomplish that, because of how this banner is, we are going to do blue into white because I just wiped blue all in there. But to accomplish that, you're going to want to take a small squeegee and go across in blue, and then we're going to go across in white, and then we're going to blend the two together. So we're going to do our blue first, since our blue water is going into our banner. Doesn't really matter if we chalk up here because we've already been there. Just making sure I get the edge of that banner. I hope this turns out the way I want it to, because if so, the way I am seeing it in my head, it is going to be just stellar. Let me do... I'm going to run through some squeegees on this, but I think I'm going to blend it this way instead. The reason why I'm using new squeegees is because I do not want to dip my blue into my white chalk paste. So I am using a new squeegee every time I dip in there. I'm not really going to care one way or the other if I'm wasting chalk paste on this, but I do not want to have any standing chalk paste, so I am going to go over it really fast. I think that it's going to look gorgeous, though, the way we have it. We're going to see. Let's pull it back. Cross your fingers. Okay, I could not duplicate that for my life. We do have a couple of spots because of being probably still a little bit wet, and I chalked over them that we're going to correct. Oh my stars. Guys, I love this. It's so gorgeous. This is so, so pretty. I really probably could not duplicate this if I wanted to. I might be able to, but it is gorgeous. It's absolutely stunning. Okay, so let me just explain really quick what happened down here at the bottom, because I want people that are watching either live or on a replay to be able to understand. So down here at the water, you can see little bitty spaces that got taken off. And I will show you what that looks like on the transfer. So let me hold it up on the back side. You can see on the back side right there where the water comes down, all of those things. The reason why it lifted is because remember how we talked about it being super duper thin? Anytime you're chalking and you have a thin area and you chalk over it again and you don't pull up right away, you're going to risk the chance of it pulling up. So that is why we see that pull up there. What we're going to have to do, my friends, is I'm going to put this down and we're going to fix those few places that we have dry chalk paste that pulled up. So you're not going to see me clean this whole entire transfer. We have just a few places that did it. So we have this little bitty spot, the second line. We have this line, just a smidgen, this one, and this one, and this one. So we have a few, but I can clearly see them here on the transfer. So you can see right here, probably, let me move this a little bit, right here where it went over. All I'm going to do is just clean this little bitty spot right here. We're going to flip it in just a second because right now I'm just cleaning the spots that I know for sure we have dry paste. All right, so all I'm using is a baby wipe that is, hey Nicole, hey Alicia. I'm using a baby wipe that is water only. You don't want to use anything else but water. Okay, so we wiped those little bitty spots. And this is me being super picky because this is going to go up to my vendor spot for sure. So we have that nasty mess to clean. But the cool thing is this IKEA table makes cleaning transfers like this so super easy. Okay, so we're going to flip it because we have to clean the back side because that is what got messed up. So all I'm doing is going over those little bitty lines really quick that we know that dried that we have to fix. Okay, I don't want to clean my whole transfer because that would take too long. But I'm just getting this wiped off. All right. And let me get my fuzzing towel that is already got stuff all over it. And let me move that. We are going to put this down really quick. And we're just going to dry those little bitty spots. So I try to use the same fuzzing towel over and over and over again that I know that's like already stained. I don't have many of them, but I do have several that I have made my cleaning towel, if you will. So the cool thing is you can fix this. You don't have to, you don't have to sit and clean your whole transfer. You can fix it totally, really, really super duper quick and easy. The thing that we want to make sure is that we are working with a dry transfer. So you don't want to put a wet transfer down because you're going to pull up more stuff. So we're going to pull this up. We're going to make sure we're not dealing with any wet. And I am just simply folding that back. Let me get this pulled back down. I'm just loving this. Like, I love, this one is so pretty. Okay, so we can tell where we need to be because we can see the stuff that's missing. So our focus is not going to be to push down everywhere because we don't want to do that. Our focus is going to be to simply push down on the spots where we want to rechalk. Super, super duper easy though. I'm the queen of fixing mistakes. The queen of it, y'all. Okay. So I'm going to use a slightly smaller squeegee just because we are, let's scoot this just a smidgen. We are working with teeny tiny areas. Hold on one second. So we don't have to worry about being absolutely huge. And the other reason you would want to use a small squeegee versus a big squeegee is you're not going to chalk but the areas that you need to chalk, right? So if you're sitting there chalking with a big squeegee, you're going to risk getting more chalk paste on different areas that don't need chalking. And then you're going to have the same problem that you had just a minute ago. So we're just going to squeegee on the little bitty areas that need it. And hopefully, I think that should be good. Let's pull that up and look at it. Perfect. Those are all fixed. And this little river bend may be off a little bit. We may add a little bit more down here. It's not bad though. So I'm so excited about the banner part. It looks like it's water, like a waterfall. I love that banner. We just have a couple little bitty spots I want to correct because we need storm paste here and right there that were kind of just pulled off just a little bit. And I am just giving this one little good chalk right here. And it's just me being super duper picky. All right. But I love this. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Love, 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 love. Okay, guys, we're going to fix these two little bitty spots right up here. And we did use Storm Chalkology paste for that one. So I am going to lay my transfer down. And we're going to get that fixed really quick. So it's just a couple of spots. And that E, I actually have to correct really fast, guys, because it has dried right there. So if you're ever working with Chalkology paste and you have a big chunk of something, it's not going to work. You just have to make sure you get your transfer cleaned off before you try to chalk, because otherwise it's not gonna work. We already fixed our mountain, but we didn't fix that part. So, hey Cassandra, we are gonna get this. I'm making sure that this is dry and that we don't have any wet on the back. And we are just going to only worry about that spot. And I'll fix that one in just a second. We're going to move it up. So we're just going to fix this little part of the E. And again, this is me being super picky, but this one is going to my vendor spot. So I need to be picky about it. So let me try that. I just love this. So in love with this transfer and this design. And the chalking is just on point today. Okay, so we're going to get the last part, and it's just a little bitty part of this mountain. Right there. And again, it is me being super duper picky. If I was not going to put this in my vendor spot, we probably would have just talked about the mistake and not corrected it. But that is to show you how simple it is to correct it when you have chalk paste that pulled up or didn't go through all the way. Guys, this is so cute. Okay, so now is the fun part where we get to talk about our project that we did. I am so excited about this one. This one is probably, I don't want to say an all-time favorite, but I love this transfer so much. The sentiment is gorgeous, and it's just a beautiful transfer all the way around. So let's talk about what we used. We used a D-size transfer wherever you go. It is gorgeous. Our D-size transfers are 18 by 18, but it is nothing to be scared of. As you can see, you can chalk this very easily and perfectly using the chalk pull method. It's one of my favorite ones to chalk and do and show you how to do. Because guys, when I first started Chalk Couture, I was petrified of these big transfers. And this is just to show you how quick, simple, easy it can be. And you can do this too. So we used several Chalkology paste colors. Let's talk about them really quick. For our mountain, we used the color Storm. We ombre'd this word wherever from Storm into our bright white. So it is gorgeous. We carried that sentiment down here in bright white with You Go. Over here for our little bitty birds, I didn't want to use the same color because, you know, at the end of the day, you want to mix it up enough where you are having some different contrast, but you don't want to use the same color. So I went ahead and grabbed Grage, and those two colors together, you can see the difference. Storm being the darker color and Grage being the lighter, but it's still in the same family. It still brings you in, but does not create a competition with the mountains up here at the top. So it's still in the same family. We used Grage here. For our trees, we did go ahead and use two different chalk paste colors, Meadow for our outskirt trees, and then Springsing, which is one of our new chalk paste colors for inside. For our river and our little waterfall looking banner here at the bottom, I Love this. I'm glad I did this instead of doing a solid white. I'm in love with this part. But we used a Forget Me Not for our river, and then our banner down at the bottom is, I don't know that I would call it ombre, but very much blended. It does look like a waterfall to me with our bright white. Now we did do this on our 18-inch board. It's our circle board. It is no longer available, but it is one of my favorites to chalk on for these big transfers. And as you can see, it brings this to its glory that it should be, because this is a gorgeous, gorgeous design. So I hope y'all are doing well. If you are watching this live or on a replay, and you look at this and you're like, oh my God, I could totally do what she is doing and I would love more information, you can comment Kit in the comments and I will be happy to hook you up with some more information about how you can be an independent designer and either craft or hobby or do what I'm doing. You don't have to go live on Facebook, but a lot of people do. I enjoy it and I love being able to teach y'all different methods and things to do. So I hope you are having an amazing Thursday. I'm going to go get a transfer clean. You may be wondering how I clean this transfer because it's got dry chalk paste all over it. I will tell you, my friends, it's very simple. A board eraser and some lukewarm water. Paste is going to be reactivated and this is going to be cleaned off. And I'll actually take a before and after picture for you so you can see what it looks like. But I hope you are having an amazing Thursday. Happy almost weekend. I look forward to talking with y'all tomorrow, but thanks for watching, guys, and I hope you have a blessed day.